This is kind of the big song on the record. My friend June Tabor asked me to sing this, to write it rather. It's about a character called John Simpson Kirkpatrick, who was born on Tyneside, which is northeast England. It's a very heavily industrial area. It's coal mines and shipyards, and he was born. No, northeast coast, just almost Scotland, but yeah. Oh yeah. And he was born in 1892, one of 8 kids, in a little town called South Shields. And when he was a kid, he worked with the donkeys on, selling donkey rides on the shore, which is a big seaside thing in England. It may be, I don't know, maybe in Coney Island or somewhere like that you get it, but in England it's a big seaside attraction. The kids get a 2-minute donkey ride up and down the beach, and Jack Simpson did that, and he was really good with donkeys, less good with people, I think. When he was in his teens, he joined the Merchant Navy, and he sailed off as a stoker in the Merchant Navy. It's massively, brutally hard work, shoveling coal in the bowels of a ship to keep it going. He did that for a while. And then he got to Australia, a place called Newcastle, New South Wales, which was a steel town. It was kind of like where he grew up. And he jumped ship and deserted from the Merchant Navy. And the next thing that we know of him is that it was the First World War, and he volunteered in the Anzacs, the Australia and New Zealand Army Corps. And he volunteered for the Ambulance Corps because he was a massively strong guy, and so he volunteered as a stretcher bearer. And it's said that what they imagined was going to happen is that he would sail to England on a troop ship on the way to France. And I think his plan was that he would get off the ship and change his name again and go home and thank you very much. But they didn't sail to England, they sailed to a place called Gallipoli, which is in the Dardanelles, between Europe and Turkey. And it was Winston Churchill's idea that they should go and attack this place, Gallipoli. And when they got there, the Turkish army was waiting for them, all dug in on the cliffs with artillery and machine guns and snipers. And in April 1915, they landed on the beach, and the Turks just blew them to bits, basically. So he was there with a crew of 6 stretcher bearers, because that's how they always worked, in teams of 6. And around him was complete carnage. And he looked up the beach and he saw a donkey, and he went, right, I'm off. So he got this donkey, and he worked with actually 3 or 4 donkeys, but one in particular, which he called Murphy, after his favourite donkey that he'd worked with in South Shields. And over a period of 4 weeks, he saved 300 men, wounded men under fire. And he was nuts brave. I mean, he was so apparently fearless. I'm sure he wasn't. I bet he was cacking himself the whole time. But he would be singing and whistling, and the troops would be clapping him because he was so brave. And his commanding officer said of him, he was the bravest and most admired of all the heroes of Gallipoli. And he did this for 4 weeks, and then he was machine gunned to death. And he was immediately recommended for the Victoria Cross, which is the highest bravery award that the British Army gives, and he was turned down on the grounds that he'd been nominated under the wrong category of heroism. Now that's cold. That's really cold. The donkey got a medal. He still hasn't got one. So that's what June wanted me to write about. It was a kind of challenging subject.